I told you guys I was going to do a deep dive into the Kennedy files, and well, I did. And not a whole lot of new info, just the same things that we've already known for years, the same stuff we've already gotten labeled as conspiracy theories for saying, courtesy of the bureaucrats and the media-backed people, the ones that are backed by the same intelligence agencies that actually did this thing to Kennedy to begin with. So it turns out, oh yeah, we've been right the whole time, and it's true. If you think that sounds nuts, just rewind to what Chuck Schumer said, spilling the quiet part out loud when Trump started poking the same hornet's nest that Kennedy did decades ago.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do.
Well, I guess for once, Schumer wasn't lying. And I'm going to show you exactly why. See, a lot of what these files say are exactly like we said, things we already knew. But to explain why I wouldn't trust the government as far as I can throw them, I dug a lot deeper into the newly unredacted JFK documents. Between last night and today, and surprise, surprise, the stuff that we've been screaming about for decades, well, it's all there. So let's lay it all out, both the old and the newly unsealed documents, because the way it all links up, it's kind of insane. So let's go down this rabbit hole. You ever hear about a guy named Gary Underhill? He was a World War II intel officer, a CIA guy, handling classified special assignments, things like that. Well, in 1964, the Warren Commission pinned the JFK hit solely on Oswald. Underhill left D.C. for New Jersey, and he met with some friends. And according to the freshly unsealed files, he told them this. The Kennedy assassination was a CIA clique, running guns and narcotics and other dirty deals, manipulating politics to serve their own ends, not unlike Biden. JFK caught wind of what was going on, and they got to him before he could do anything about it. Fast forward 6 months, Underhill turns up unalived, alone with a bullet to the left side of his head, even though he was a right-handed guy. And they want us to believe it's suicide. Well, I've been around way long enough to know that when people out big networks or players, they really don't last long. I mean, seriously, do any of us believe that Epstein offed himself? Hang tight, we're going to circle back to that in a minute. More breadcrumbs, though. The JFK motorcade was rerouted, and that was all thanks to Dallas Mayor Earl Cabell, who, surprise, was working with the CIA. His brother, Charles Cabell, who JFK forced out of the CIA the year prior. So why exactly would the CIA want JFK gone? Well, here's why. Ever hear of a group called the ICA, or the International Cooperation Administration? Probably not, because JFK demanded that it be dismantled after the Bay of Pigs disaster in '61. The whole Cuba invasion thing that got botched thanks to bad intel, and also JFK refused to provide air cover for it. And this created a full-on war between Kennedy and the intelligence world. And then there's Kennedy's infamous vow. I will splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the winds. 5 months later, he dismantles the ICA, the agency that helped hide unaccountable black ops under the guise of humanitarian aid. Not unlike our U.S. aid. But guess what took its place? Exactly right, U.S. aid. It was pitched as being a state-ran department, and it was going to be more controlled, more transparent, but we know the real game. It had nothing to do with us just digging water wells in Africa or any of that. It was a cover, because let's say we had Navy SEALs, Marines, Army, you name it, risking it all in countries that we weren't even officially at war with, doing these so-called humanitarian ops. Well, we've lost soldiers in this. We deserve to know the full truth. And now it looks like what exactly? Which brings us to Lee Harvey Oswald. The official line is that he acted alone, motivated by ties to Cuba after meeting with officials in Mexico City, and this was all supposedly in response to the Bay of Pigs. But seriously, was it? Kennedy and LBJ hated one another. LBJ's mistress told many such stories, including the fact that he also wanted him gone.
Right before, when Johnson came out of the meeting, what did he say to you?
He was so angry. He had a violent temper when he was upset.
Well, let's use the exact words that he said to you. What did he say to you?
He grabbed me by the arm, and he had this deep voice, and he said, "After tomorrow, those SOBs will never embarrass me again. That's no threat. That's a promise."
The moment that JFK was gone, LBJ creates the Warren Commission. And who does he put in charge of it? Allen Dulles, the CIA director that JFK fired. And let's not forget how Kennedy was pulling out of Vietnam while LBJ ramped it up the second that he took office. Now, we've known most of this for years. Even the CIA didn't fight hard to bury most of it. But you know what they did insist on redacting over and over again? Anything at all to do with Israeli intelligence as it ties to this story. The question is why? What's buried there, and were they involved? Over a dozen entries were blacked out, and only just now are they being brought to light. And here's the punchline. The same government that's ridiculed, silenced, and even blacklisted people like us for decades, they've all just been proven to be a bunch of liars. And us tinfoil hat wearing guys, we were right. The U.S. government orchestrated the assassination of its own president. Then they buried it, slow leaking half-truths over decades to keep us confused and let the shock fade. That's how psychological operations work. This is how we topple regimes abroad or normalize corruption. So by the time the entire truth comes out, everyone's numb to it. And now major networks can't even be bothered to mention the fact that the CIA took out their own president of the United States just to shift foreign policy. So while I already expected most of this, the real takeaway is simple. Never, ever, ever trust the government, period. And they no longer get to call us conspiracy theorists anymore. Not on this, not on anything. The ball is now in their court to prove that they should ever be trusted by the people again. We had Americans, brothers, sisters, and friends spill blood in Iraq under false pretenses. We watched them lie about wars, crash economies, and force policies on us that they themselves never lived by. They forgot who they answer to. They work for us, we the people. And if you're some lifeless bureaucrat shrugging all of this off, remember, that's exactly why Trump won the election. Because you betrayed your country over and over again. And now the JFK files are just one more proof of how corrupt our government truly is. And here's the worst of it. Trump is the first guy in a long time actually trying to earn the trust back of the people. And they are doing everything they can to get rid of him for it.